So we are officially recording. All right. So welcome everyone. The All Day Fat Burning Diet Q&A, question and answer with me, Yuri Elkaim. I'm the author of this book here, The All Day Fat Burning Diet, which releases in stores Tuesday, December 22nd. I'm super excited. I'm going to give you guys a sneak peek inside in just a moment. But most importantly, I'm here to answer your questions. So here's how this is going to work. So right now you see me on your screen. Hopefully you can hear my voice. Can you guys let me know if you can hear my voice? Just like confirm that you can hear me okay? All right, great. Thanks, Josh. Awesome. And while you're here, let me know where you're from. Just type into the chat where you're joining me in from. It's always great to see where you guys are at in the world. I'm in Toronto, so there you go. A couple other things. If you want to join me live on camera, there should be, I think you're able to somehow request to come on camera. You can ask your question live on the camera with me, and that'll be fun as well. So if you want to do that, I can't remember how to do that, but I'm sure on your screen you'll be able to submit a request to come on camera, and your video from your computer will pick you up, and you'll be able to chat with me on screen. And obviously, just in the sake of time and for everyone else's consideration, let's try to keep one question per person, right? And we're not going to spend. I want to make sure everyone's questions are answered as best I can. So, yeah. So there you go. So let's get right into this. But before I do, I've got my tea. This is actually not Starbucks. It's a Starbucks mug, and it's really cool. I'm drinking this tea called Throat Coat. And I found out about this tea when I was at the recording studio recording the audiobook for this version, for this book, because my voice was like going after several hours doing that. So I got this at the store, and it's really cool. So it's Traditional Medicinal, is one of my favorite tea brands. But on the thing here, it says, be yourself. And I thought that was so great because, you know, what this is all about. The reason I wrote this book is because I want to help you be yourself and honor that and love who you are. Because I believe that, you know, it's important to be healthy and to be lean and to be in a body weight you feel proud of and comfortable in. But at the end of the day, everyone's body's different, right? You're different from me. I'm different from the next person. And it's really all about honoring you and being yourself and being okay with it. As you can tell, I don't have any hair. Okay. This is, in case you don't know my story, I have a condition called alopecia where I lost my hair when I was 17 years old. And you know what? Over the years, I've come to realize, I'm like, you know what? Who cares? It's only hair. And for you, it might be your weight, right? And something that you're struggling with. And if you feel like you're kind of hiding behind this veil of, hiding behind a mask of the shadow of your true self, then I understand. I get it. And I'm here to help you get rid of that mask, to come out from the curtains and really shine your true self to the world. And that's why I wrote this book, because I'm really, really good at two things when it comes to health and fitness. And that is helping you have a lot more energy and helping you burn fat. Those are the two things that I possibly do better than anybody else in our industry. Obviously, there's some really great people, but yeah. So I wrote this book because I said everything I could about energy in the first one, and this one is everything I know to be true about fat loss, but doing so in a way that's actually good for your health. Because as you know, I'm not about gimmicks. I'm not about, radical things that are going to help you lose weight for a couple of weeks and then pack it back on. This is a very sustainable plan that my goal for you is to get quick results that also last. So I'm really excited to share this with you. So anyways, let's get into I just wanted to share the genesis of why I wrote the book. But okay, so I'm going to see if I can bring Aline Murray on here. Let's see if this works out. And if there's a lot of feedback and a lot of crazy stuff going on the camera, I'll just turn it off. So Aline, can you hear me? I don't know if she's on. So anyways, let's just X out of that. Okay, so let's, again, we'll see how things go. All right, so Karen Shellhammer is trying to get on here. I will answer her question right now if we can. And hopefully anyways, while she's waiting to come on here. Okay, can the audio be saved? I don't want to lose those. We'll have the recording ready for you guys by tomorrow. Okay, so Sandy is asking, a friend with gout wonders if lemon in his water would be bad for him. Absolutely not. What's going to be bad for gout is going to be red wine, beer, a lot of red meat. Those are going to be the things you want to stay away from. Another question from Sandy, is refined coconut oil better or worse than unrefined? Well, in general, anything unrefined is going to be better. Okay, so this one comes from Natural Nida, or Nida. I'm not too sure the pronunciation there. So I get very jittery, or at times I have difficulty stringing sentences or finding the right words when I do not eat, and sometimes when I do eat. And I'm worried about fasting. Are fasting days just water days, or can some coffee with cream or something be consumed? And what are your thoughts for people who have low blood sugar issues? Is fasting not for certain groups of people with certain conditions? Okay, if you go to my blog, yurielkaim.com, the latest post today is all about how to do fasting, how to do intermittent fasting. It's one of the most epic blog posts I've ever written. It answers 19 of the most common questions with science, a lot of scientific studies to back everything up. So if you want to know if fasting is right for you if you're a woman, because there's a lot of stuff out there that says it's not good for you if you're a woman, if you want to know how to do it, the different types, all that stuff is answered on the blog. But let me just really quickly answer the question. If you have blood sugar issues, then you're going to want to monitor that, right? So I'm not going to suggest, and I talk about this in the book, I'm like, listen, if you're hypoglycemic or if you're diabetic and you're going to go into a coma if you don't have any food, then by all means have a bit of food, right? But if you're generally healthy, then I challenge you to go through a one-day fast, because it's one of the best ways to rectify your hormones, for instance, insulin, which is at the root of a lot of the blood sugar issues that people are experiencing. So if you're feeling hypoglycemic and up and down blood sugar throughout the day, then something has to change, right? A lot of that is dietary related. So I'm not saying that it's your fault, but there are certain foods that are wreaking havoc on your body and making it tough for you to go several hours without food. If that's the case, you are a sugar burner and you're not a fat burner. And my goal in this program is to change that so that your body relies more on fat as its predominant fuel source as opposed to sugar. And the only way to do that is to feed your body the right foods and not buying into the dogma of having to eat 5 or 6 times a day. Because when you're always eating food, your blood sugar is relatively high compared to, let's say, resting levels. And as a result, your insulin rises. So when your insulin is up, you're in storage mode. Insulin is a storage hormone. So you can't burn fat if your insulin is high. So one of the benefits of not eating all the time, for instance, like doing a one-day fast or having maybe 2 meals throughout the day, if that works for you, is that it enables your body to self-regulate a little bit better instead of constantly digesting food. The other benefit of fasting is that it's the only opportunity we give to our body to heal itself. If we're always eating and digesting food, that's energy that's spent on digesting food and not on healing. And this is a really important thing that I talk about in the book, as well as on the blog, on that blog post if you want to check it out. So there you go. Okay, so I've answered that. Okay, let's see if I can get anyone else here. So Rebecca is trying to call in. Let's see if we can get Rebecca on the line. Just make sure that your video camera is, hey, Rebecca, how's it going? I don't think that I can hear you, though. Or is that just me?
Can you hear me now?
There we go. Beautiful.
Okay. Can't wait to get the book.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Wanting to know the gifts that came with the book, like the meditation. Yep. Is there a way of recording that? You mentioned that we're going to lose those next week.
So you've already ordered the book, you said?
Yes. And I've accessed like the recordings, like, you know, the meditation and things, yoga. Okay, those I cannot save. Is there a way we can save those? You've mentioned that we're going to lose them next week. Well,
I didn't say that. So if you've already pre-ordered the book, you'll have lifetime access to those bonuses. So we'll make sure that you have access to that page. And if guys, and Rebecca, for you as well, if you have any technical issues, please email our support. info@totalwellnessconsulting.ca. They're there to support you. If there's anything missing, they will send that over to you like ASAP. To be honest, I don't even know where half our download files are. So they'll let you know where those are. But if you've pre-ordered the book before the 22nd, you'll have access to those bonuses forever.
Okay.
And that's you can download on your computer.
Okay. And that's something you were talking about with the diabetic. I am trying to get to 3 meals a day instead of the 5-6 times.
Sure.
That is very hard. Is there any suggestions for that? I constantly want to eat.
So the most important thing you want to think about is eating the right types of foods in those meals. And there's two big food groups that you want to really focus on. It's going to be protein and fiber. So fiber is not really a food group. It's obviously a component of foods. But if you're eating protein and fiber, what those are going to do is they are going to keep you satiated longer, and they're going to stabilize your blood sugar a lot more effectively than if you had carbohydrates. Now, I'm not saying that carbs are bad, but you really want to make sure that you're balancing out your meals with good amounts of protein and fiber. Because if you have, just as an example, if you just have pasta, right, predominantly carbohydrate, it's going to be quickly digested and you're just going to go up and down. But let's just say, again, let's take the example of a pasta. If you had that pasta with, for instance, a meat sauce and some good veggies in there that gave you extra fiber, or maybe some legumes like navy beans in that pasta, now you're getting a little bit more protein and fiber into that high carbohydrate type of meal. So I'm not suggesting having pasta like that all the time, but just as an example.
Right.
Does that help?
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you, Rebecca. Is there anything else I can help you with while I got you on the camera here?
No, but one quick question about coconut milk. That is not actually considered dairy, right?
No.
I'm lactose.
Dairy is anything from a cow, pretty much.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks so much, Rebecca. Is this Danny?
Microphone.
Hey, Danny. How's it going?
Oh, Danny.
Danny. Well, that's the username that I'm seeing here. I'm not too sure if I'm speaking with Danny or somebody else.
Yes. My wife, Marilyn.
How's it going?
Hi, no, we just wanted to let you know that we are eager to start getting these fabulous abs.
Awesome. Great.
We ordered the book today.
Well, thank you so much.
And I was interested in knowing about the energy green.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, so
how does that work?
So our energy greens, we developed, or actually I should say I developed them in my kitchen almost 2 years ago now. So for years, I've talked about the importance of alkalinity, getting more greens into the body. And a lot of people just kept asking me, like, what greens powder do you recommend? And I don't know about you, but most greens powders that I've tasted in the past tasted like fresh cut lawn. So I was like, I don't really know what I would recommend. So what I decided to do was kind of like, well, why don't I just develop my own? So we made sure that we sourced the best possible ingredients. It took me about 4.5 months. I had all the raw materials in my kitchen, and I just literally with a tablespoon measure in various things, I just started to piece together a concoction that finally figured out, wow, this tastes really good. And I had my kids try it, and obviously they're like, okay, this is doable. And so that was kind of the genesis of it. And so our energy greens have become what I believe and what a lot of our customers believe to be the best tasting greens on the planet. But the other thing too is that they're the best quality greens. And it's important to understand that most green powders, if you look at the label, will say they use, for instance, like wheatgrass from the whole leaf, right? Or barley grass from the whole leaf. And the problem with that is that that's a cheaper way of cultivating the greens, especially in a powder form. So essentially what it's like doing is it's like mowing your lawn and then putting the shavings of the lawn directly into the water. And that's why a lot of the greens powders, they end up sinking to the bottom, and they're very tough to really kind of suspend in the water. Our greens powder is different. What we do is we cut the grass, we freeze dry it, we juice it, and then it's freeze dried. So you're getting more nutritional extract or more nutritional benefit from the greens without all that extra fiber that makes it all kind of like in your mouth. So the quality of the grass juice and the greens in our powder is higher just based on the processing, but also all the ingredients are non-GMO verified, USDA organic, and we don't use any artificial sweeteners. So we use the combination of goji berry, cinnamon, and vanilla to really bring a beautiful flavor into the greens. So it doesn't taste like, pond water. It tastes like a really nice, refreshing greens. And I love it just with water. And we have, with your order, we send you a really cool recipe book. So you've got like 21 amazing different smoothies to try it out with. And it's awesome. Like, we can't even keep them in stock. So they're pretty awesome.
All right.
All right, that's something.
Hey, Danny, how's it going?
Hi, I'm Danny. Doing well. I have a question regarding. I was listening to your videos and watching your videos, and I noticed that you said that you shouldn't carb up in the morning. So, what do you suggest? Would just regular boiled eggs or smoothie? Because I recall you saying that you take smoothies, one smoothie a morning, and that's basically what you have.
And I think the beautiful thing about the human body is that you have to, like, not every day is going to be the same, right? Some mornings you're going to be hungrier than others. Some mornings, for instance, like right now, I'm in a phase where I'm not eating anything until about noon. So what I'm doing in the morning, and this is, I think this is true with everyone. We kind of go through peaks and troughs and ebbs and flows, and you just have to honor that. And that's something that's really important to remember, is that it's not always that you have to have breakfast, or not always that you can never have carbs in the morning. But with carbohydrates in the morning, the idea is to have less of them and add more of them in later in the day. So instead of
because you say cortisol peaks
exactly.
in the morning, correct?
So if we have a lot of carbs in the morning, it's I don't know anybody who feels amazing after a huge bowl of oatmeal. It's like you're falling asleep afterwards, right?
Right.
So think about things like you said, soft boiled or hard boiled eggs, right? You can have that with a side of, let's say you wanted to have a little bit of oatmeal, cool, right? Just make that maybe a side, maybe half a cup or so. But if the carbohydrates are the predominant, like cereals, bagels, all that stuff you find at Starbucks, if that is your breakfast, that is really setting yourself up for not a very good day. And over time, it's going to offset your circadian rhythm. So think about things like a protein shake in the morning. You want to look at getting about 20 grams of protein. So the other thing to remember is that, when is breakfast? I mean, if you think about the word breakfast, it's break fast. So does that have to be at 8 in the morning, or can that be at 1 in the afternoon? So what I want to encourage you is to think about, when are you hungry, and make that your breakfast time, if that works for you based on your schedule. And just kind of keeping in mind, what are some higher protein things that I can have in the morning? Eggs, protein shake, even some legumes like some lentils and stuff like that in the morning might be a good option. So yeah. Awesome.
All right, great.
Is there anything else?
I'm also.
Excuse me.
Is there anyone else?
Yeah, there's a couple more. I just want to make sure I get your questions answered while you're here. So is there any, I'll take one more question if you have before we bring on Jennifer and Laura Childs here.
No, I'm good. I see that you're drinking Starbucks. Is that tea?
Oh yeah, it's Starbucks. No, it's a Starbucks mug. It's a Starbucks mug, and we just use this for tea and stuff. Yeah. Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks so much,
That's
Danny.
all.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Marilyn. All right, so we're going to bring in Jennifer. Jennifer, how is it going?
Good. I have to be honest with you. I'm a physician and a longtime fitness advocate, and have been eating up your fat loss summit, and I just can't say enough fascinating things about all of the wonderful new things you introduced me to, and I'm just excited. So I'm going to try to be concise. In addition to all these other things, I also am a physique competitor and have fallen into the bodybuilding trap recently and gotten myself out of it thanks to you and Ben Greenfield and Krista Recchio and some of the wonderful people you brought on the Fat Loss Seminar. But I'm wondering how to incorporate your book and these principles into my plan as I move into my next show in April.
That's a tough one to answer, because I know with physique modeling, it's very visual. So you have to do things that are a bit more radical to really cut body fat dramatically. And I remember when I was working with a colleague, 15 years ago, she was the same thing. She was in a phase where she was competing, and every day she'd walk into the gym, and her lunch was chicken and broccoli, chicken and broccoli, chicken and broccoli. And the problem with that is that you can do that, and it'll obviously get you pretty ripped, but it's going to start to wreak havoc on your metabolism, especially your thyroid. So the all-day fat burning diet wasn't written for fitness models. It's really for the person who just needs to get started, or the person who's got that 5 or 10 pounds, that plateau that just can't break through. So I don't really know what the results would be from a physique modeling perspective with this. What I can tell you, though, is that you will get lean because of the fact that we cycle calories and carbs appropriately, in addition to strategic exercise with the program. So I don't know. To be very honest, I'm not too sure how that would affect, doing this versus doing a kind of bodybuilder type of eating plan.
Well, I'm going to find out for you because
cool, thank you.
My plan to do this. I'm just impressed with it, and I don't do figure anymore, so I don't need as much muscle. I think it's more compatible for the bikini than the figure. Yeah. So I appreciate your time, and I will find out for you.
Awesome. And I would love, please, if you're in the Facebook group, please keep us posted, because I would love to see how this affects, again, all spectrums of all walks of life.
Great. Thank you again, and I will keep you posted.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
Keep up the great work.
Thank you. You as well. All right, let's bring on Laura, if she's on the camera here. I love this. This is so much fun. This is why I like Blab. It's so cool. Hope you guys are enjoying this. And while Laura is loading up here, I guess, I will answer a question from, hey, Laura, what's up? Okay, before I get to Diane's question, I'll come back to Laura and we'll make sure we answer this first. How's it going, Laura?
Pretty good, thanks. Fellow Canadian here. Really glad to see you on Blab.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love this. This is so cool.
It is very cool. And a great community here, too, of people. Congratulations on your new book. I'm really excited to read it.
Thank you very much.
Are you going to tell us in this Blab what your table of contents are, or any of those other fun things that people want to know?
Yeah, this will be a good segue into giving you some sneak peeks into the book. So I'll just actually show this to you, if that makes sense. So the table of contents, can you guys read that?
Probably not.
No. So let me read this to you guys. So basically the book is broken up into 3 sections. The first part is what's stopping you from losing weight. The second part is how to reset basically 6 steps to reset your metabolism. And then the third part is how to eat your way thin and basically stay that way for life. So chapter 1 is called, Is Your Body Stopping You from Losing Weight? We talk about the 6 fat triggers. Chapter 2, we talk about 6 reasons why you can't seem to lose weight. And this takes what we learned in chapter 1 with the 6 fat triggers, and then we look at how that's impacting your hormones inside your body and how that is really forcing your body to hold on to weight instead of releasing it. So that lays the foundation. And part 2 of the book is really, okay, now that we know that, let's start to reset stuff. So there's 6 steps. One of my favorite chapters in this book is chapter 3, which is set yourself up for success. Because this chapter is all about mindset and kind of success principles. And you can take this to anything. It's really, really valuable. Chapter 4 is called Reboot Your Kitchen. So I'm going to show you exactly which foods to get rid of, which foods to bring. And there's not really that many foods to get rid of. It's really about inclusion and strategic kind of eating of foods. So I'll show you exactly which foods to have for your low carb days, for your feast days. All that stuff is taken care of. Chapter 5 is the outline or the in-depth overview of the 5-day food cycling formula. Chapter 6 is another one of my favorite chapters called Exercise Using the Lift Method to Burn Fat 24/7. The Lift Method, I've never disclosed this publicly ever, and it's awesome. It's really good. Chapter 7 is Rest Your Way to Faster Fat Loss. And chapter 8 is Sleep Your Way Thin. So what makes this book very unique is that it's not just about food, which most diets just attend to. This book is a 4-prong approach: clean eating, cycling your calories strategically, exercising more intelligently, and resting properly. When you combine those 4 components, it's like you're driving on fully inflated tires. Most diets don't last or lead to lasting results because they only focus on one tire, which is, or maybe 2, which is really the food and maybe the exercise. But as I talk about in the book, the big reason, the fundamental reason so many people have an issue with losing weight is because their body feels threatened. So from a biological standpoint, if our body feels stressed, if it feels threatened for its survival, right, it's going to slow down, it's going to shut down and hold on to what it has. And so we're going to look at why that happens, how to overcome it. And recovery and rest are very important to reducing that and essentially reducing inflammation in the body. So, because I could tell you, hey, work out 7 days a week and you'll burn fat. You will, but you're also going to kill your body in the process. And in the long term, that's going to increase cortisol, increase inflammation. And that's just going to make the whole thing worse. Part 3 is starting in chapter 9 called Start Your Fat Burning Engines. Chapter 10 is the 21-day meal plan and fat burning recipes. So there's 51 amazing recipes. They're really, really good. You guys will be blown away by how good the recipes are. You'll be like, this is crazy. I can eat this stuff on this plan. Chapter 11 is the all-day fat burning smoothies and juices. So I'm giving you 15 brand new smoothies and juices. And chapter 12 is how to stay lean for life. In this chapter, I'm going to disclose my 10 fat loss commandments, which I don't think I've ever publicly disclosed, at least together like this. And I'm also going to show you how you can take this plan, this 5-day food cycling plan, and make it work for you forever. So for me, this is actually a very similar way of eating that I incorporate on a day-to-day basis. The only difference for me is that I don't have many low-calorie days. Actually, that's not true, because if I'm juicing or if I'm drinking juice, I'm usually just having juice all day long and then a big dinner. But essentially, this program is very intuitive in the sense where it helps you over 21 days. It helps you kind of come back into a good conversation with your body so that in the future, after 21 days, if you want to repeat it, you can. But moving forward, you can understand that, hey, you know what? I feel really good when I fast once a week. I'm going to continue doing that. Or I feel really good when I have a low carb day. I'm going to continue doing that once a week. So it gives you the flexibility to start moving things around to suit your needs. And it's really, really cool. So anyways, that's a long-winded answer for the table of contents.
No, it was great. It's a great answer because you actually, by telling me what the table of contents were, answered other follow-up questions I was going to come to you with. But
nice.
Another one that I'm wondering is people who travel a lot or people who are out of the home a lot, will they be able to do this or follow these protocols?
Yeah, and what's beautiful about that is we had about 720 beta testers go through this program last December. And I wanted to make sure that what I was, putting out to the world was actually producing results that I knew it could based on previous years of experience. And a lot of the people in that beta test were like, okay, well, I'm traveling. I've got a lot of work functions. I'm doing all sorts of stuff. Will this still work? And the reality is that it can. You might just have to tweak it a little bit. So by that, I mean, a lot of times when I'm traveling, because the airport food is really, well, it depends on which airplane and which airport you're at, there's really very few good options. So a lot of times when I'm traveling, I'll just say, you know what, I'm traveling tomorrow. So tomorrow will be my 1-day fast.
Nice.
Right? Or like, for instance, in our beta test, we finished it on December 26th. So the day before that was obviously Christmas.
Yes.
And I believe Christmas, based on our schedule, was supposed to end on a low carb day. I was like, there's no way that's going to happen, guys, right? So what we just did is we just kind of flipped it around. We said, okay, on Christmas, just have a feast day. Just have your 1-day feast and just swap out the low carb day for another day in the week. So the beautiful thing is that it gives you the flexibility to look at your schedule and say, I'm going to be traveling. I'm not going to have access to as much food. Maybe it's going to be a low calorie day. Maybe it's going to be a low carb day. Maybe it's going to be a 1-day fast. And when I was writing this as well, I remember I was in California and I was like, okay, I'm going to test this stuff out because I'm at a hotel and today's a low carb day. So what am I going to do? So for instance, I remember this distinctly. I'm in Santa Monica, overlooking the beach, and the waiter comes to take my order. And I was like, it was the order was, I think on the menu it was an omelet with potatoes and some bacon. So I said, I have nothing against potatoes, but on this low carb day, I said, listen, I just want to swap out the potatoes. Can I get some steamed spinach instead? So that's what I did. So I had a very kind of, in that case, a pretty high protein breakfast. And it's just about understanding that you can swap things out and you can make it work for you based on what you need to do.
True enough. I'm 52 years old and I've lost 70 pounds doing low carb. Yuri, to be honest with you, I am petrified of carbs now because I've seen the effect. And that was, that's been like 2 years and I'm still like, whoa, hold back on those things. I was an addict. But so the carbs that you eat or the carbs that you work with in cycling, see, I probably would never touch a potato again. I'll get those nutrients somewhere else.
Yeah, sure.
But Yeah. So can people eat bread on what you're talking about, and the white potatoes and things like that?
So the two foods that I recommend you avoid are dairy and gluten, just because of the fact that they increase inflammation in the body and they don't work in line with what we want to do. Having said that, I mean, technically you could do, let's say, a feast day with carbs like, I mean, well, some people call it a cheat day, which is like pizza, hamburgers, French fries, ice cream. That's what I'm not suggesting here. But I do show you how to have healthier versions of those types of foods that actually taste good and that don't take forever to make, and they're actually going to do your body good. So bread, if you're going to have bread, go to like an Ezekiel 419 or a gluten-free almond flour type of bread. Those are cool. You don't have to have potatoes. I think there's two recipes in the book that call for white potatoes. One of them is a cold potato salad, which is really good. But again, you don't have to have that, right? So if you don't feel comfortable having potatoes, then just swap it out. Have some legumes, have some sweet potatoes, have something you feel comfortable with.
Yeah.
And the other thing is just understanding that carbs are really important for the health of your thyroid and leptin communication with your brain. So again, like have you been low carb for like 2 years? Like pretty straightforward?
Yeah, except for those, cheat days. And I don't cheat with the good carbs. I cheat with the bad ones.
And so do you know how many carbs, like grams of carbs you're having per day roughly?
When I started, I was keeping it like around 20, under 30. Mm-hmm. But once I lost the weight, I've been, definitely a lot more liberal with it. I eat a lot more vegetables now, and I don't worry about or count them as closely. And that's what I love about what you're doing, because you're not just telling people exactly what to eat, but you're teaching them why. Yeah. Why does your body need these things, and what we're trying to repair. And just because you touched on it twice, I'm very happy that you're talking about inflammation, mm-hmm. because so many of our modern day illnesses are the results of the inflammation. So
absolutely, it's the foundation of everything. It's inflammation and acidosis are two of the biggest. They're kind of like the tectonic plates underneath the crust of the earth, and when they erupt, we have earthquakes, or when they collide, we have earthquakes or volcanic eruptions. It's the same thing that happens in the body when there's too much inflammation, when there's all sorts of stuff going on in your body. We're not symptomatic right away, right? I had hair until I was 17, but my diet was terrible for as long as I had control of it. So let's say 12 years. And eventually the body hits a threshold and it says, you know what? You're not getting the signals of like low energy, skin outbreaks, asthma, eczema, digestive issues. Those are all signs from the body saying, listen, hello, something's not going on. Something's not, And unfortunately for a lot of people, nowadays, autoimmune disorders are becoming more and more prevalent because of inflammation coming back to gut health and all sorts of other stuff. So it's really important that we address that, because I've never been about, and like I've been doing this a long time to understand a lot of you guys watching this have done everything from counting calories to exercising more, but still like something's not right. And if that's the case, what's happening inside is the issue. And it's not that it's your fault or that you lack willpower or stuff like that. It's just years and years and years of small little things that have been chipping away. And that's how it goes, right? So, and this is all about kind of coming back to basics and healing from the ground up. So because your body knows where it needs to be. We're not put on this earth to be 400 pounds. Like there's no way we would survive, right? So our body wants to be lean. It wants to be vital and energized, and it knows how to get there. We just have to give it the foundation, the environment in order for it to do that.
Yeah. And the time to heal, right? Because I'm always telling people, don't rush for this. We don't need a skinny corpse.
Exactly.
Right? Take your time. So anyway, cool. I am so happy that you've done this. I can't wait to get the book, and I'm really excited about recommending it. Do you recommend it for women my age?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, my core audience is women your age.
Oh, perfect.
So, yeah, absolutely. So if you know anyone who would benefit from this, please let them know, because I think this book is really going to spread in a really, really viral manner, I think, because there's a message inside this book, which is an underlying tone of really getting, it's a diet, but it's not. It's, it's diet because my publisher wants to call it a diet, right?
Right.
It's agnostic. You can be raw, you can be vegan, you can be paleo and still follow this. So it's really a way of approaching food and life that I think a lot of people will resonate with. And it's really kind of controversial against what we think to be true based on what the diet industry has told us about, counting calories or how many meals per day we have to have or your metabolic, all sorts of stuff. Like, I'm really happy with the way it's turned out. It's a terrific book, and I know it's really going to serve a lot of you guys. And
to support you, the best way is to send people to your website?
Yeah, if you know of anyone, guys, alldayfatburningdiet.com. So if you want to let them know, that's the best place. And I would really appreciate you helping us spread the word because, again, my mission is to help 10 million people by 2018. I can't do that alone. So I need you guys, my army, to help us spread the word and help those who need the help, whether that's one person or three people, or whatever it is. One person. It's all about paying it forward. That's why I love teaching, not just like giving you the fish, right? Because if I can empower you with a better understanding of how your body works or a better way to get results, then you have that capability to then pay it forward to other people. And that's really what I want to do.
Well, and also to raise our children better. Because I had a daughter that ate the way that I ate, and she was 55 pounds overweight when we started. So it does. It just keeps rolling. And thanks for that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Laura. It's been a pleasure connecting with you.
Yes, you too.
Bye. Awesome. Well, that was fun. This is great. Okay, so let's get to Diane's question now. Sorry, Diane, for the delay here. So Diane DaCosta is asking, will it help premenopausal women? I'm hoping it will help me stabilize my hormones going through the crazy hot flashes right now. Yes, it'll help premenopausal, postmenopausal, in menopause. I often say how you heal anything is how you heal everything. So one of the beautiful things about hot flashes and like PMS, if you're a little bit younger, is that a lot of that is hormonal, right? And why do we have all that? Well, part of it is because of what's happening in our liver. And our liver can be pretty toxic based on our lifestyle and based on our food intake. What I've noticed over the years, and especially with our cleansing program, is that when you clean up your diets, just by eating better foods, your liver naturally gets cleansed. And as a result of that, your liver, because it controls over 500 different functions in your body, including hormone regulation, right? For instance, if you have too much estrogen in your body, which is known as estrogen dominance, part of the problem there is that there's too much estrogen and your liver is not able to get rid of enough of it. So when your liver is too toxic, it's not able to function properly. But if we can get your liver nice and healthy and clean again, it's able to take that excess estrogen and metabolize it out of your body so you can bring your estrogen levels back to where they should be. That's just one example, right? But again, the liver does everything from like blood sugar regulation to, free fatty acid conversion into glucose, all sorts of stuff. And simply by eating better quality foods like you will in this program, you're going to support your liver in a much, much better fashion. So yeah, it'll definitely help. And again, everyone's results are different, right? I can't say for sure you're going to lose this much weight or this is always going to work for every single person. But at some level, your health and your body will improve on this program. Okay, so just a follow-up question from Natural Nada. She says, I eat a pretty clean diet. I do not have blood sugar issues, but I am wondering why I am in sugar burning mode instead of fat burning mode, even with a clean diet. I follow the protein vegetables in the morning if I do eat and starch at night with my meal. I'm hoping your book will help me with that. Yeah, to be honest, I don't know. There's certain questions that they're very tough for me to answer in this kind of setting, right? And that's why sometimes it's nice to have a one-on-one kind of sit down with a naturopathic doctor or a nutritionist to really get down to the nitty-gritty of what it is that's going on in your body. Because I can give you a bunch of answers here, but I don't know if they're going to be exactly what your situation is, right? There can be other factors. So it's good to see that you're eating that, a clean diet. Again, I don't know what a clean diet is. Everyone has maybe a slightly different opinion, but I'm sure the book will give you some nuggets. It'll give you some distinctions, things that you're like, maybe I'll try this, or I haven't tried this, or maybe I thought this was good and it's maybe not, or maybe I thought this was bad and maybe it's actually good. So yeah, it'll definitely give you a greater level of awareness And that's really important because all change and progress comes first from being aware. And that's one of the big goals with this program. So, yeah. Okay. So another follow-up question from Diane. What if you were exercising at 6 a.m. in the morning? What would be the best breakfast after the workout? I would say a smoothie. And to be very honest, I would actually make your breakfast, again, depending on what works best for your body, I would make your breakfast, depending on the day, your biggest meal, right? Because in this case, you want to generally have your biggest meal after your workout because that's when your muscles are opened up like a flower to the sun and most receptive for the intake of calories, specifically glucose or carbohydrates and nutrients. So that's what I would suggest. So it could be a smoothie, it could be your typical eggs and bacon, whatever else you want to have in the morning, whatever's going to work for you. I also talk in the book how to strategically incorporate kind of a post-workout meal or not based on the day you're on in terms of the 5-day caloric cycling plan. So I'll get, obviously get into more detail in the book about how you can use that post-workout meal a bit more strategically to accelerate fat loss without, crashing and burning. Call it a livet, not a diet. Yeah, maybe we'll create a new term here. Awesome. Well, thank you, Sandy. Again, guys, if you've got questions, you can join me on camera here if you want. And I'm just going to take off the sweater here. I'm starting to get a little toasty. Okay. So let's see. I'm going to just on the right-hand side, guys. If you've got questions, just type in /Q followed by your question, and that'll pop up in the question feed on the left-hand side for me. Okay, so I'm just going to sift through. Okay, so Elaine Murray is saying, in the past, I was a cortisol flatliner, but I've been managing well. I want to make sure that this fasting doesn't damage my adrenals again. Hoping you have substitute foods as I currently eat no grains and don't want to start. Can't wait to get the book. The carb calorie cycling is the most fascinating part. Awesome. Really good segue into this. So if you're completely exhausted adrenal-wise, if your adrenals are completely toast, what I would suggest is you do the 1-day fast and see how you feel. If you feel absolutely exhausted because, for instance, you can't raise your cortisol levels to stabilize your blood sugar, then have a little something throughout the day, okay? For the grains, I talk about you can incorporate things like brown rice, quinoa, even white rice if it's prepared properly. But you definitely don't have to have those, right? So this is not a grain-centric program. I think there might be a couple recipes with the grains, but again, they're gluten-free grains if you want to have them at all. There's a few recipes that incorporate gluten-free oats. For instance, like I think they're chocolate chip oatmeal pancakes? I can't even remember. But one of them, there's a couple recipes. But anyways, you can omit them if you want to. You don't have to follow them. And again, if you're paleo or vegan or whatever, there's stuff in here. Even if the recipes, I would say about 70% of them are meat-based, or 65% or so. The others are completely vegan. But here's the thing. If you are vegan or vegetarian, you can take the principles, and I show you how to take the principles to make it 100% vegan or vegetarian. So not to worry about that. All right. Okay, so Nettie is asking, what are some things to drink besides water and tea? And I'm assuming this is on a fasting day. Well, you can do things like apple cider vinegar, lemon, kind of squeezed into the water. And that's pretty much about it, right? So the fasting day is awesome. Like, guys, you're going to experience this. If you've never done one, it's really revealing about why we eat, what we do, and when we do. And it's a lot of times it's conditioning, right? So for instance, a lot of times when I'm working, I'll have tea, right? For no apparent reason. In this case, I have this I can't even speak, throat coat, right? So this is like a combination of like licorice root and peppermint and some other stuff. And if I'm doing a lot of speaking like I am here, it's going to help my vocal cords because they're a little bit raspy. But if I'm working sometimes in the morning and I'm writing, I'll make a tea because it's just, I've conditioned myself to have tea when I'm working. or I'll have a green juice when I'm working. So for you, it might be different, right? A lot of this stuff is conditioned habits, and a fast helps you break that. And all of a sudden you're like, whoa, I feel like I'm feeling anxious. I need something to drink or something to eat. And it's not because you're physically hungry. It's just conditioned to eat or drink certain things at certain times based on what you're doing. So that's one example of the beautiful awareness you're going to get from a one-day fast. So it's really, really enlightening. Okay, how can I find a good nutritionist? That's a good question. So that's a tough one to answer. So here's my advice. I would recommend you find a nutritionist as opposed to a dietitian, because dietitians will tell you it's just calories in, calories out. That's the end of the day. You can have white bread. It's all good, in my opinion, okay, in my experience. I'm a holistic nutritionist, okay, and my approach to food is like completely different from a dietitian's. I don't look at quantity. I focus on quality. It's the same thing as if you went to a medical doctor versus a naturopathic doctor. So try to find a nutritionist, and I wish I had a better recommendation or resource here for you, but try to find one that is, based on a referral recommendation, somebody who's relatively holistic, who's going to jive with your personal approach to life, who kind of gets it. I mean, like you can just, again, I think sometimes the best is going to just be a referral, a word of mouth. Just ask your friends, ask somebody you know. Again, I wish I could make a better recommendation. I don't know where you live. I don't really, even if I did, I don't know if there's a specific nutritionist in that area. So that's, it's a bit of a tough one there. But you definitely want to look at somebody who understands the body, who takes a holistic point of view of not just, if you're overweight, it's because you're eating too much food, but there's the reality that other things are going on and helping you address those. Okay, so Diane is saying, Yuri, I tried the fasting on Tuesday, and very strangely enough, I find that I'm not as hungry any longer. For Wednesday, I had only a smoothie and late dinner. And then today, same thing. Does the one-day fast open up an awareness of hunger? Absolutely. One of the most interesting things from our beta test was that most people who broke their fast, whether it was at 24 hours or 16 or 18, whatever it was, is they didn't feel like devouring a burger. And actually, by the way, I give you the world's greatest burger. It was one of the recipes in this book. It's amazing. I'm telling you. Just the burger recipe alone is worth getting the book for. Anyways, and it's healthy for you as well. So if you eat meat. So what was I saying? So a lot of people who finished their fast actually craved like a smoothie, or they wanted something light. They didn't feel it. They didn't want to like devour food. And that's a really, really cool thing about the fast. Again, it's about understanding you don't have to eat all the time. And a lot of times when you do, you're full and you're still eating without even recognizing what's going on. So it is an amazing practice in awareness, just as meditation is, right? In terms of like mental acuity and calmness and all that stuff. Fasting is like meditation for your body in terms of kind of food intake. So it's awesome. So thank you for sharing that, Dan. That's great. Okay, so how about I share some more stuff with you guys from the book? Okay, so let me ask you, well, not that you know what's in the book, so let me just pick something out here that I think would be valuable to show you guys. So one of the cool things, as I mentioned before, is that I talk a lot about exercise, right? We have a whole chapter. And I actually give you, we had an artist draw out all these pictures. So you're going to get the exercise pictures for every single workout. It's not like I'm telling you to do push-ups, then you have to figure out how to do it on your own. Because some of the exercises are not as intuitive, right? Like a kettlebell swing. Do you know how to do a kettlebell swing properly? If not, I'm going to show you how to do it, or a dumbbell sumo squat. These are all things you can do at home for the most part, assuming you have a couple pieces of equipment. If you don't, so I'm going to show you some alternatives. And the cool thing is that here's the other benefit of getting the book now before the book comes out in stores, is that in the book there are 4 different types of workouts. Okay, so we've got workouts called full body metabolic conditioning. You've got body weight blast. You've got body weight eccentrics and eccentric strength workouts. So you're getting 4 different types of workouts. And in the book, I give you the beginner version of each one of those. In the book, I also recommend if you want the more intermediate and advanced versions, go to the resources page, which I mentioned in the book. However, I'm not giving, so when we did the beta test, the first round, we did it 3 rounds. The first round, a lot of people are like, okay, well, thanks for the exercises, but it would be awesome to see you actually doing them or kind of get some guidance. So what I did was I shot all the workouts on video, and then we recorded them on audio. So beautiful, high quality, follow along video and instructional video, high quality follow along audio, and then you've got the workout trackers and the exercise pictures. And we pretty much just gave it to them at a significant discount because it was going to help them out tremendously. And I realized how important the workouts are. And if you've worked out on your own, you know how challenging it can be if you don't know what to do. So I'm like, the workouts in the book are great, but if I can actually just give you the workouts that we actually, by the way, we normally charge $67 for the full video audio version of those workouts. And they're only offered to existing customers of one of our other programs called the Amazing Abs Solution. So we don't even offer this to the public yet. We'll probably make it available in the next couple months. But right now, I was like, what would be the most valuable thing I can give you guys in this bonus package? And I think that it's the workouts. Like, you're going to be getting the follow along workouts on video, audio, the whole bit for free when you order the book before December 22nd. So, and 11 other bonuses. Okay. So if you want to learn more, but if you haven't got the book yet, alldayfatburningdiet.com. And you can learn about the 12 bonuses. They're $210 in actual retail value, including gift certificates and coupons and stuff like that. Thrive Market, Food Matters TV, our personal shop for our energy greens. You're getting a Yoga for Athletes program, meditation audios, delectable desserts recipe guide. There's some amazing bonus gifts that I'm giving you guys because I really want to support you and really make this a no-brainer. So the other cool thing is that right now on Amazon, this book, I'll just show you this. The retail price, if I can see, where are we? If you can see that, the retail price, $26.99 US. If you go to Amazon right now, I believe it's about $18.58. So you're saving 25 to whatever, 30% off the regular price of the book when you pre-order. So Amazon usually does that before the book comes out. And when the book's out, it goes to full price. So just that alone is a great reason to grab the book. Plus you're getting $210 worth of bonuses for less than a $19 investment. So trying to make it as much of a no-brainer as possible for you. Okay, so let's get back to your questions. Okay, so Moira Green, can I have black coffee on a fasting day? If it's decaf, I'm going to give you a hall pass. I'll say, all right. But I'm not a huge fan of caffeine in general because caffeine is just going to it's going to kill your adrenals. It's going to, especially on a fasting day, there's obviously different approaches to fasting, whether it's, Dave Asprey's bulletproof fasting, and there's like lean gains. And a lot of the fasters are into black coffee on an empty stomach, and they'll just do that for the whole day. But here's the thing, guys. I mean, if you understand what caffeine does to your adrenals and thus your blood sugar, you would not want to drink it. And that's part of my mission, is to get you guys away from the caffeine because it's not serving you. So if you're going to have black coffee, just make sure it's decaf and you'll do a lot better without it. Thoughts on rice milk? Seems all right to me, right? Don't worry about the arsenic and stuff like that. You're going to get arsenic, you're going to get lead, you're going to get mercury from other foods. Let's not go crazy about this stuff, right? So Diane DeCosta is saying, I don't think caffeine is a good idea on a fast day. Not sure if it's okay on a program. I don't recommend caffeine, okay? If you want to do caffeine, it's up to you, but I'm not recommending it in my book or in general. I mean, I've never recommended caffeine. So even the tea that I drink is herbal, non-caffeinated. How can you get your daily requirement for fiber when you fast? Well, you can't. So here's a really important thing to remember, guys. And this goes back to a lot of the myths. 35 grams of fiber per day is the recommended amount we want to be getting. Protein for most individuals, 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram of body mass. So I'm 170 pounds. That works out to be about 75 grams of protein. What do I do on a fasting day? Well, if I'm not getting protein or fiber on a fasting day, what happens? Is my body just going to disintegrate? No. From a protein perspective, your body has amino acids in the liver, kind of a pool of amino acids that it can kind of take and combine into whatever proteins you need if your protein content or intake is lower on a specific day. So it's not your daily intake that's the most important, it's your average intake over time. So it's this, whether or not you're fasting, like there's days where, what if you're juicing? How much fiber are you getting on a juice day? Nothing, right? But other days you might be having whole foods and be getting a lot more fiber in. So it's not the daily intake, it's the average over time intake. So over the course of a month, if you look at your days, you want to be, let's say 25 to 30 grams of fiber per day. That's average. Some days might have 50, others might have 0, other days might have 10. But on average, you want to keep it at 35. Okay? Okay. Am I the only one who lost Yuri on camera? Can you guys see me okay? Can you just let me know? Okay. So I think everyone's good, hopefully. Cool. All right. How we doing, guys? Having a good time? Is this helpful? I hope so. Awesome. All right. So let's go back to the book for a second. I just opened the book to page 64. I'm going to share this with you. It's really important. If you can see that, this is a really, really important distinction that I make in the book. So in chapter 4, chapter 5, can't remember. Chapter 3, it's all about setting yourself up for success. And this is really important. I had to devote an entire chapter. I'm not if I were to write more books in the future, it's going to be about this type of stuff because this is the stuff that holds us back, right? Our body is, let's say it's messed up metabolically because of food and toxins and environmental stuff. But here's the thing, and this is something that I learned a long time ago from Tony Robbins, which is you look at the results you want. And this is this is a great conversation. Let's talk about this. This is a great conversation to have, especially with the new year coming around and resolutions or goals, okay? So before I get into the goals and resolutions, let me talk about this process of manifestation, if you want to think of it that way. The results you want, let's say you want to lose 10 pounds. That is a result. That's an outcome. You don't have control over that. That's kind of like an outcome thing that is determined by the actions that you take. So your actions lead to results. But what determines your actions? Your feelings do. Your feelings determine your actions. So let me ask you this. If I'm sitting here and I'm hunched over, not feeling too enthralled about what I'm doing, not feeling too good about stuff that's going on in my life, am I going to be feeling good or not? Most likely not. I'm going to feel sad, maybe depressed, maybe sorry for myself, maybe victimized, whatever. It's important to understand when you feel like that, you cannot take actions that lead to positive results. If you want different fruits, you have to change the roots. And the roots in this case are your feelings. Great results come from feeling great. So how do we feel better? How do we feel better, happier, optimistic, hopeful, whatever, so that we take the right actions, eat the right foods, are motivated to work out? We need to understand that our state determines how we feel. What is our state? Our state is basically our physiology, our kind of how we feel, or the kind of the predecessor to how we feel. So basically our state is determined by three things: how we use our body. So instead of slouching over like this, sit up tall, spread your arms out wide, make yourself big. There was a big TED talk on this, and I can't remember the name of the individual who did this. But basically, by making yourself big, you actually increase testosterone in your body, decrease cortisol, and it increases confidence. So simply by standing with like in the Superman pose, you naturally increase your confidence and feel better. So if you're just sitting down, just do this right now. Or instead of like frowning, smile. You can't feel sad and smile at the same time. So the way you use your body improves your state. And if your state's better, you're going to feel better. And you're going to feel better, you're going to take better action. The other thing is your internal dialogue. This is really important. Guys, never tell yourself that you're stupid. Never tell yourself that I can't do this, or this will never happen for me, or I failed in the past, I can never do this again, or I don't want to start this because nothing has worked for me in the past. That's all internal dialogue that is not supporting you. And I know it can be tough. I know, believe me, if there's anybody who's set a lot of goals, who's achieved very few of them, it's me. I've achieved some awesome stuff, but in relation to the number of goals that I've set, it's like 1%. Maybe I set a lofty goal and I kind of, came part way. So I understand what it's like to try something and not have it work out. And then you feel crappy about yourself and, you're lacking the confidence to keep going. And you're thinking, well, I did this diet in the past, or I tried this exercise program, it didn't work out. Why is this going to be any difference? And even if it is good, can I do it, right? I don't believe in myself. So I want to encourage you to be a little bit nicer, be a little bit gentler on yourself, and to start speaking to yourself as you would another human being. And that's the second way we can improve our state. The third is what we focus on. And I think all of us can do a better job at focusing on what is working well. And this is something I'm guilty of. I'll just be very honest with you right now. Like our three young boys, we have a 1.5-year-old, a 3-year-old, and an almost 5-year-old. And our house is just like, it's chaos in the morning and after school. It's just like, it's crazy. And I get into these downward spirals sometimes of just really like, just not enjoying the situation. I'm just like, these damn kids and whatever else. And that is a focus. That's a mental focus where I'm choosing to focus on what is not going well. And there's a reason that we focus on things, whether they're good or bad, right? For instance, maybe focusing on the wrong things makes us feel crappy, which gives us a sense of connection with other people when we want to speak to them about stuff, whatever it is. But it's, again, comes back to awareness to be able to switch from, I'm going to focus on the bad stuff in the situation, to here's what's good. I've got 3 healthy kids. Sure, they're a pain in the butt sometimes, but they're awesome. They're a lot of fun. I love them. We have a lot of fun hanging out and all sorts of stuff. So we just have to be, again, I'm guilty of this as well. I think all of us can be a bit more conscious of what we focus on. And I think gratitude journaling, success journaling is a really important practice to help us do that. So that's kind of the 4-step manifestation process that I talk about in this chapter, because it's really important. If you want better results, it has to start with your state. If you want to lose the weight, you have to start with your state. Remember, you cannot get great results if you don't feel great about yourself. Does that make sense? Let's talk about goals for a second. New Year's about 2 weeks away. A lot of us should be setting New Year's goals and resolutions and, hopefully making 2016 the best year ever. But here's what I want to encourage you to do is, set an outcome goal, set your result goal, right? Financially, health-wise, relationship-wise, whatever it is. But don't stop there, because you cannot control the outcome. Let's say you want to make $1 million. Well, what are you going to do to make $1 million? Right? If you just say, I'm going to make $1 million, I'm going to make $1 million, that's like, there's such a big disconnect between that outcome and where you are. You need to fill that gap with some type of strategy to get you there, right? And that's where the action comes in. But in order for you to take that action, you have to be feeling good and you have to be in the right state. So if you want to lose 50 pounds as your goal, well, what are the actions that you can take? Now, you can figure this stuff out on your own, or you can just follow the plan in the book, because that's probably the easiest way to do it, because I've given you the strategy. And then your goal, your job is to simply on a daily basis, do what you can do for yourself to feel better consistently. And I'm not saying you have to be happy like all the time, but do your best. Because if you don't feel good, you're not going to be taking the good actions. You're going to be eating potato chips instead of apples, right? And it's, we've all been in the situation, right? I don't need to, explain it to you. But I love exercise because of this, because exercise is one of those things where you go for a quick little workout and you instantly feel better. It's the ultimate state changer. And that's why I think it's such an important component to your life. For instance, in the mornings right now, as you guys know, I'm not a huge fan of cardio. Ironically, I feel the best when I do short bursts of cardio. So what I'm doing now, because we still don't have any snow, which is terrific, so I'm gonna just enjoy this while I can, is I drop Oscar off at school in the morning. We walk over to school. I drop him off, and then 4 times a week, I'm basically running 2 kilometers, so around the school and then down this other path and then back to my house. So it's about 2 kilometers. And I'm not going more than that. I have no intention, I have no desire to run 5, 10K. I don't think it's going to kill my body. So what I'm doing is I'm essentially running 2 kilometers, the same path every single time, and I'm just going to run a little bit faster as my fitness improves. And the beautiful thing about that is that takes me 12 minutes, roughly 12 to 14 minutes. And I get home and it's like 9 o'clock and I'm on fire. I feel amazing. And I'm just ready to crank out the most amazing day ever. That's a lot more productive than starting your day going to Starbucks and getting a Frappuccino and a muffin. Okay. So there we go. Anyways, hopefully that helps you guys. So focus on the process. Focus on the process, the actions, not the results, not the outcome. Have the outcome there, know what you're going for, but you need to have those processes in place so you can see your success along the way. You can focus on the daily actions you're going to take to get you there. All right, so Hannah's asking, what about those of us who are interested in longer duration, longer kind of endurance exercise? Well, you can do it. I mean, exercise is better than nothing. But I also lay out some pretty compelling arguments for not doing that on a consistent basis, specifically from a hormonal perspective. Okay, so please try to avoid the crazy long duration stuff. Once in a while is fine. Just don't make it a consistent habit. All right, so what else we got here? Yes, Amy Cuddy, thank you. And the funny thing is I actually mentioned her in the book, so I should probably know that. Amy Cuddy was the TED Talk. Okay, so Karen Shellhammer's asking, what's up, Karen? How's it going? Do you recommend going on your cleanse before starting on the all-day fat-burning diet program? No, you can either one. Like you can, if you want to do the cleanse on its own, you can do that. If you want to do the all-day fat-burning diet, you can do that. And what I would suggest is there's nothing wrong with trying different things, because what you'll find is you're going to find something in this program that really resonates with you. And maybe you just like let's just say you like the recipes from the cleanse better. Just as an example, you can take elements of this and incorporate it with something else you're already doing. Or let's say you read this book, and I'm not naive enough to say this is going to be the last diet book you ever read. I mean, I think that's the intention of every diet book, really, is to make it the last one. But the whole publishing industry would disappear if that were the case. The whole idea is to find nuggets from the different things you're learning and apply them to your own life and see what works, see what sticks. For instance, I don't do paleo. I don't believe in it. I don't, for me at least. I have a tough time when people say that legumes and beans are the devil. And when they're so dogmatic about that. I have a very tough time following that type of dogmatic approach. So I don't follow that. But I understand that paleo talks a lot about reducing inflammation by reducing grains and sugar and stuff, which is cool. So you want to take different elements from different approaches, or you just follow one thing and go deep with it. Whatever's going to work best for you. Cool. All right. How can I incorporate turmeric into my livet? She's already on the new word. That's awesome. So I talk about one of the bonus, the missing chapters you guys get with the book when you order before next Tuesday is there's 4 missing chapters, 4 chapters that I had to remove out of the book because the word count was like excessive. So we took those out, and one of them was body hacks for faster fat loss. So if you guys have read it already, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you can obviously it's on the downloads. But one of them is talking about how do we reduce inflammation. We can incorporate certain supplements and certain things that can speed the reduction in inflammation. And one of them is turmeric. So turmeric is amazing. Curcumin, turmeric, more or less the same thing. It's the most powerful anti-inflammatory drug, if you want to think of it, that we know of. It's been shown to be as potent as Advil at 500 milligrams a day. It's amazing. So you can incorporate it, I would say, from a therapeutic level, you're probably going to be looking at supplementation, because the reality is that most of us don't live in India, and most of us are not getting any turmeric. So we're not getting the benefits. So we might as well supplement with it, unless you're going to be making a lot of Indian food or other foods that incorporate turmeric. So supplementally is probably the best and easiest way to get in your curcumin or your turmeric, and it'll make a world of a difference in the long run. It's huge. It's huge. Okay, so is there anything else I can answer for you guys, or anything you want to see from the book? How about, do you guys want to see some testimonials? You want to see some of the success stories from the book? Do you want me to read you a couple of these? Would that be helpful? Danny and Marilyn coming back on here. Yes,
just a quick question.
What's going on, Danny? How's it going?
Yes, I just ordered your book, and I want to go ahead and get the greens as well.
Yeah.
What's the? I know you said there's some discounts, but where can I locate that?
It should be on the download page with all the bonuses. Okay. So once you purchase the book, come back to the alldayfatburningdiet.com, enter your name, email, receipt number, and from there you'll be able to access the downloads, and you'll also be receiving an email with reference to those downloads, and you'll have the coupon code for the discount for the greens.
Perfect. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Danny.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Okay, so I'll get to the testimonials in just a second. I just want to crank through some of these questions here. What are your go-to snacks, especially on the go? Green juice, my energy greens, my all-day energy bars, apple, nuts and seeds. To be honest, I'm not on the go that much. I work at home, so I'm at home most of the time. But when I'm on the go, that's typically what I have with me. Do you talk about digestive enzymes? I take 2 high-grade with each meal. What are your thoughts? Absolutely, really important. Hydrochloric acid and digestive enzymes. I talk probably more extensively in my first book, The All-Day Energy Diet, but I do mention them in this book as well, especially in the missing chapters that you guys got as a bonus. So yeah, massively important. So keep that up. That's wicked. So Chad is saying I make a turmeric shot every night, 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder with a few good shakes of black pepper and a tablespoon of avocado oil. Nice. That's awesome. Thank you, Hannah. Hope to see you as well on live. And if you guys are enjoying this, I'll do more of these hangouts on a routine basis. What is your status on the protein bars? Okay, so I'm going to be very upfront with you guys. We have changed manufacturers because it just wasn't making sense for us to produce the bars. So we have, and that's why we haven't really produced any since, I guess, March. So we have a new manufacturer in Toronto, and we're just in the process now of finalizing the recipe to make sure that it's pretty much exactly the same. And I actually met with them yesterday, and they came back with their kind of final version. And it was, taste-wise, it was there, but the nutritional profile was off. So off to the point where I said I refuse to put it out to market with this nutritional profile. So for instance, our original bars, 6 grams of sugar per bar. These new ones, 13 grams. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to put 13 grams of sugar out into the market. Like, that's never going to happen. So we're in the process now of trying to figure out if the original recipe was actually 6 grams of sugar. And if it is, then there's something in the manufacturing process that made that possible, because the way this company, and just so you guys know, this company is like legit. They do massive distribution and co-packing with all the retail stores, food-wise, in North America. So all the big ones you all shop at, they help get foods in those stores. So these guys do massive business with big companies, like the food companies, like Cadbury and Hershey's and stuff like that. But not that they're criminal at that. They just co-pack with them. very legitimate business. And they're trying to figure out if that's the initial recipe, there's no way that the nutritional profile can be like that unless there's something they're not telling us. So we're in the process now of and we don't want to get into lawsuits based on, initial ingredients and all that stuff. But again, I don't want to lie to you guys. I want to be very open and upfront about what we think or what we thought was the initial recipe. And again, the initial recipe was what it was. We're just trying to figure out if the manufacturing process was different than what our new company is using and thus is able to keep those ratios where they are without losing the integrity of the bar. Because there's a lot of bars are crumbly and chalky, and that's because they don't use a lot of sugar. But when you start putting sugar in, it becomes more sticky. There's a whole science to it. I'm not going to bore you. Anyways, February, the bar should be back. So I just want to use that segue to be very transparent with you guys. I don't want to lie to you. I will be honest and open with you guys about everything we do, and you deserve to know that. So, anyways, yeah. What do I think about Soylent? Not a huge fan. Thanks again for all the great info. What kind of sugar do I use? Honey, coconut sugar, low glycemic. I use maple syrup and honey for the most part, and then stevia and xylitol. All right. Will your greens replace the need to eat yucky tasting veggies? If I were a traditional supplement company, I would say yes. 1 tablespoon is going to give you 10 servings of vegetables, which is nonsense. I'm going to tell you that it's not a replacement. Okay, that's why they're called supplements. If, let's say you had 10 scoops a day, sure, you're going to be starting to get some benefit in terms of instead of eating vegetables. But listen, guys, me, I'm always going to say eat whole foods as the base, right? I don't care if we come out with our protein, our energy greens, our all-day energy bars. Those are just supplements outside of whole foods, right? You have to make food the base of what you're doing. And then it's just a matter of finding ways to make your greens taste better. And that's what I do, is create these amazing recipes that allow you to do that. So anyways, let's get to some of these testimonials. Some really cool success stories. It's why I do what I do. So I want to share first and foremost Sebastian's story. Okay, so there it is. It's on page 107. And this actually goes back to the fasting for a second. So I'm going to read it to you. So of all the suggestions in this book, it's likely the fast day that concerns you the most. Here's the thing. Choosing not to eat for an entire day often has some astonishingly pleasant results beyond losing weight. Consider Sebastian's story. Desk-bound at his job in New York City and super stressed day in and day out, he admits that he was an emotional eater, finding solace and satisfaction in all manner of junk. However, of all the things that helped him lose weight on this program, an astonishing 23 pounds, it's the fast day that he says helped him the most. I quote, "Fasting was a revelation for me," says Sebastian. "I would never have thought that with all the cravings I usually have, or with the dip that comes each afternoon that sends you running to the snack machine, or for a coffee or pastry to sweeten your life. When you start doing the fast, you realize you can go for 18, 19, 20 hours without any food. Of course, you feel a little hungry, but it's not that uncomfortable, and it actually helps you get your mind focused." Sebastian credits the 3-week time frame of the program, the tasty meals, and the plan's simplicity for his dramatic weight loss, but remains wowed by the power of the fast day, a practice he plans to carry forward beyond the time on this plan. I quote, "When breaking fast, I also profoundly realized that my body wants fresh food, salad, greens, fruit, berries, and is not attracted to greasy or sweet stuff. And that first food tastes so good." So that's Sebastian's story. Pretty awesome. Stein, this is a really amazing lady here. It's a lengthier testimonial, so I'll just give you the nuts and bolts. So she was in a relationship for 14 years. They broke up. She gained a lot of weight. Obviously, there's the stress of the breakup, all that. And, she had always wanted to be gluten-free, but didn't have the know-how to do it. But then obviously this plan made sense to her. She was one of our beta testers. She loved the fact that it just made sense and it was based on science. And, she says, and I quote, "The recipes are fantastic, and I never felt like I was on a diet at all. I've made the recipes for guests several times, and they have always been well received. Even my 4-year-old son is happily eating the food. When I started the diet, I was severely addicted to sugar and wheat, but very quickly the craving subsided. I felt I gained the control I had lacked for years over my diet. It felt like a knot that was loosening, giving me a more relaxed relationship with food. I finally feel like I can hear my body telling me what it needs." That's everything right there. "After 9 weeks on the diet, I can't see myself ever ending it. I love the way both the exercise and diet can easily fit into a busy life. I love the variety of the diet with the mix of low carb, feast, fast, regular, and low calorie days where you don't get stuck in a rut. This food cycling plan has helped me avoid wanting to rebel against the strict structure. I am now lighter than I've been in more than 10 years. I've gone down 2 clothes sizes and lost almost 30 pounds. I also feel great and have loads of energy. And I've reopened the lines of communication with my body and feel ready to move on with my life. This has been a life changer, not only due to the weight loss, for which I get lots of compliments, but mainly because I have found myself and regained the energy to get out of the rut I was stuck in. Thank you, Yuri, for this opportunity. It has been an amazing journey, which has really just begun." So this book there's about 15 or so success stories in the book, and they're truly inspiring. And if you guys are wondering, like, can this work for me? I guarantee that there's somebody who's gone through this book, this program, that was in your shoes and that has achieved amazing results. And that's why I wanted to include them in the book, because it's so inspiring to read what other people like you are experiencing. For instance, if I read a book and I saw a testimonial about a 35 good-looking-year-old guy who has alopecia, 3 boys, I'm like, this guy is me. Like, holy cow, if he can do it, so can I. And that's what this is all about. That's why we want to include these in here, to let you know that these are people that may have been in your situation, or you were in theirs. And there you go. Okay, so again, Hashir wants to know, how do I feel about Soylent? Not a huge fan of it. Maybe if you're a coder in Silicon Valley and you want to do that, that's cool, but we're into health, right? None of that stuff. Okay, so Moira is asking, do you think frozen veggies are more nutritious than fresh from the store that have sat there for too long and been shipped from other countries? I mean, who knows, right? I think at that level we're like really splitting hairs. And this is something I really want you guys not to fuss about is frozen better than fresh? Fresh in general is gonna be better. But again, the mineral content, the vitamin content of foods is vastly different than it was 50 years ago based on soil demineralization. But you know what, guys? Whatever you're eating, just eat the friggin' food. Just enjoy it, okay? That's a really important take-home message I want you to get, is even if it's not organic, just eat the damn apple. Enjoy it. Don't feel guilty and shameful, like, oh my God, it's got pesticides and I know it's not good for me. That negative energy that we put into the food based on that kind of thinking, I think makes the food that much worse. And this is something that I so firmly believe in, that if I were to write another diet book, which I really don't want to do, it would probably be called The Belief Diet. And the whole synopsis of the book would be whatever you believe is true. So if you believe you're eating crappy foods, even if they're healthy, your body is going to respond as if they're crappy foods. Whereas if you're eating McDonald's all the time and you have no idea that it's bad for you and you think it's good, then your body's probably going to receive it well. Now, obviously, that's an extreme example, probably not the best, but just enjoy the damn food, okay? Don't worry. Don't fuss about the little things. Okay, so let's see what else here. So what is my complaint against Soylent? Well, first and foremost, it's, from my understanding, it's a soy-based drink, which is not something I would recommend. It's the only thing you drink. So there's no variation and there's no like rotation in your diet. And just that alone is a huge reason not to drink it. You need variety in your diets. You can't just drink the same thing or eat the same thing every single day. But again, if you want to go for it, go for it. Whatever is going to work for you. How do we check into the private Facebook group? So excited to get started. So this is from Eve Back, Evelyn, I think it's Evelyn Backich, if I'm not mistaken. So on the download page with the downloads after you order the book, or in the email we send you upon ordering, you will have the link to the Facebook group. And once you're in, you'll just request in, we'll accept you in, and then you'll be in. That's as simple as that. You guys want to hear another testimonial or anything else from the book? Anything I can clarify for you guys or inspire you with? Oh, and just in case you want to see the back of the book, so we've got some cool praise here from some pretty awesome people, a JJ version. So JJ says, Yuri Elkaim's groundbreaking The All-Day Fat Burning Diet blasts conventional dietary wisdom and provides cutting-edge, easy-to-implement strategies that reset your metabolism to blast fat and build muscle so you can become your best self. Don't miss this one. JJ, just in case you don't know her, she's a multiple-time New York Times bestselling author. Dr. Sarah Gottfried, New York Times bestselling author of The Hormone Reset Diet and The Hormone Cure, says the All-Day Fat Burning Diet is an invaluable guide to healthy living and will help you to finally see the results you want. Yuri Elkaim combines an innovative food cycling program with cutting-edge research to craft a plan that really works. Read this book. And Alan Christensen, who I believe is the smartest man on the planet, and the New York Times bestselling author of The Adrenal Reset Diet, says, as a physician with decades of experience helping those with hormonal weight loss resistance, I recommend Yuri Elkaim's 5-day food cycling program is sound and effective. If you've tried for years to eat less and exercise more, but have never gotten the results you wanted, then this is the book for you. Yuri Elkaim's formula is an innovative and easy way to supercharge your metabolism and finally find success. So that's on the back of the book. Pretty cool. All right. So, wow, we've been going for an hour and a half. That's crazy. Time just flies, right? Okay, so normally Vampire Diaries would be on tonight, which means that I would have to have gone 30 minutes ago. And it's not on tonight because they're on Christmas break, which is really upsetting to me because now I'm not going to know what happens to Damon or Stefan for the next 30 days. And if you think I'm crazy, you're right. That's my one vice, Vampire Diaries. Yes, I've said it. I admit it. There's my confession. Okay, so if you guys have no further questions, we will wrap up for this evening. If you do, please throw them in now or come on the screen, and let's get to them. So I have rheumatoid arthritis and Hashimoto's. I've been following you online for quite some time. I'm now able to reduce my meds for both. Eventually, I hope to be med-free. It's working. Awesome. That's terrific. Thank you so much, Maura. Good job. Diane, thank you so much. Looking forward to getting the book into your hands. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this. And I will, obviously, I'm having this recorded right now. So we will have this. What I'll do is actually, I'm going to put this up on the book page. So I'm going to put this up on alldayfatburningdiet.com. We'll have it up there tomorrow. Hopefully our web guy can get it up there tomorrow. So yeah, it'll be up there. So if you guys want to watch the replay of this, I'll send you the link once again over to the book page, alldayfatburningdiet.com. And once again, when you grab your copy today, you get access to 12 awesome bonuses worth $210 in value. It's wicked, wicked, wicked. If you're seeing this replay like a month from now when those bonuses are no longer there, we will have a couple bonuses left on the page, but not the full extent of this awesome bundle that we have to celebrate the launch of the book. So please get the book if you haven't already. Let your friends and family know. Get one for your dogs if they're overweight. Heck, I don't know. Anyways, well, thank you so much for joining me, guys. Have an awesome evening. And yeah, Diane, you know what? I'm going to do another one of these sessions. Once the book comes out, once we get kind of everyone settled in. Oh, you know what? Oh, my God. I didn't even put this on the page. This is crazy. So one of the bonuses, which I think is a really cool one, is for everyone who gets the book, you're going to be invited into our 21-day fat loss challenge in January. So we're going to start this on January 4th. And basically, to be part of the challenge, you just have to have the book. So the challenge is totally free. You just have to own the book so you know exactly what to do. And yeah, so we'll have these as part of the challenge. So I can't believe I forgot that. That's like such an important component of what we're doing. So anyways, more information on that coming in the next week or 10 days. thank you once again, guys. It's been awesome. It's been a lot of fun. Have an awesome evening, and I will we'll talk to you probably tomorrow.